Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Serge. So I came across a really interesting article that just came out a week or two ago on this dilemma between saturated fat and unsaturated oil. As you may know, if you have been following nutrition and this debate for the last 50, 60 years, a lot of people have led us to believe that we need to cut our saturated fat intake down or actually completely eliminate our saturated fat in order to avoid heart disease, cancer, inflammations, insulin resistant diabetes, and so on and so on. So this article is the most recent, and it really goes over this dilemma in relationship to, serum cholesterol, fatty acids, atherosclerosis, inflammation, cancer, and all-cause mortality. So let's go over the abstract a little bit. We can see here that it says that PUFAs, which stands for polyunsaturated fatty acids, so which are the omega-3, omega-6 family, and they are found in vegetable oils, for example, seafoods, fish, and so on. So they are highly susceptible to lipid peroxidation, which can lead to oxidative stress, inflammation, atherosclerosis, cancer, disorders associated with inflammation, such as insulin resistance, arthritis, and inflammatory syndromes. So at the end of the day, what this means is polyunsaturated fat leads to an increased risk of having inflammatory issues in the body. Okay, and the main sources of those in our diet in this country is vegetable oils like canola, soybean, cottonseed, safflower oil, sunflower oil, and so on. So at the end of the day, this article suggests that we need to minimize our intake of polyunsaturated fatty acids. Actually, it has been shown for the last 50, 60 years that if it's higher than 10% of our calorie intake, you have a higher risk of cancer and heart problems. We've known this for quite some time, actually. And then when you look at this next part is the authors says that there is a misconception that saturated fatty acids can cause inflammation. Although endogenous palmitic acid is converted to ceramide, which are compounds that regulate inflammation, and other cells constituents involved in inflammatory response. So this article will discuss the many misconceptions regarding how dietary lipids regulate serum cholesterol, the fact that all-cause death rate is higher in humans with low compared with normal or moderately elevated serum cholesterol, and the numerous adverse effects of increasing dietary polyunsaturated fatty acids or carbohydrates relative to saturated fatty acids. So at the end of the day, what all this means is they found, we've known that for many times actually, and this article goes over the most recent studies that a higher blood cholesterol is actually protective. People who have a higher blood cholesterol tend to live longer. And the Monica study really shows that really nicely. So the Monica study is a study that's been going on for 25 years in Europe. So they look at 29 different countries, and they analyze the lipid levels on those different people in those countries. And they found that when they see that people have a high blood cholesterol, they have a higher life expectancy. So there's many reasons for it actually, but cholesterol is a known antioxidant. Cholesterol is involved in inflammatory regulation, and cholesterol is involved in helping the immune system fighting pathogens. So if you have a lower blood cholesterol, so meaning that you have less cholesterol in the body, your immune system is down, is reduced, is depleted, and you cannot fight inflammation, for example, you cannot fight pathogens, you cannot fight viruses, bacteria, and so on, and you have a higher risk of cancer. That's what the Monica study showed actually, that people who have a lower blood level of cholesterol have a higher risk of heart attack, cancer, and all-cause mortality. Really fascinating. And then they look at people who take statin, for example. So statin is those medications that reduce artificially the blood level And this because they believe that if your cholesterol is 200 higher, you have a higher risk. But people who take statin, for example, they have a higher risk of heart attack. As a matter of fact, people are surprised when I tell them that the major side effects of statin is actually heart failure, it's heart attack. And it's very ironic to me that you take statins to try to prevent heart problems, but the major side effect of it is heart attack. And people have a higher risk of cancer, of diabetes, of dementia, muscle issues, immune problems, liver problems. There's so many side effects to statin. It's one of the worst drugs on the market right now. So at the end of the day, we know that cholesterol is actually healthy for you. You should never reduce it. Even if it's high, 2, 3, 400, there's reason for it. A lot of doctors will say, oh, it's genetic. It runs in your family, and so on and so on. Most of the time, it's not. It may be higher because of your genetic component. But if you clean your diet, if you address the stressors in your body, inflammations, pathogens, bacterial or viral infections coming from your teeth, for example, from your gums, can actually increase your cholesterol. So there's many, many reasons for it. And if your cholesterol is higher, there's no point to lower it with medications. You need to look at the actual cause of why cholesterol is high. And eating foods high in cholesterol, like cheese, eggs, beef, meat, and fish and so on, does not increase blood cholesterol. It's two different things. I know the other clan, the veganism clan, likes to use this analogy that if you pour grease into the sink, it's going to clog the pipes. Yes, it's going to clog the pipes, but we are not pipes. Our body is nothing like that. When you eat food, your food is digested. The fat that you eat is digested into smaller components. It goes to your liver, it goes to your gut, and then the body uses it for energy, for structural issues, for maintenance, for healing the body. So when you eat fats of foods high in fat, it does not clog the arteries. It has nothing to do with that. Clogged arteries is other component, like I said, bacterial infection, viral infections, it's stress in the body, it's sugar, it's adrenal deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, and so on. So don't be scared to eat foods high in cholesterol. Actually, you need to eat foods that contain cholesterol because those foods are the most nutrient dense out there. So if you have heart problems or cholesterol issues, actually you need to eat some meat, some fish, some organ meats, some eggs. And typically when we do that with people, when I use a high-fat diet with people, they actually have a lower cholesterol over time because you actually address the inflammatory factors, which is all the junk food, the carbs, the sugar, and so on. So this is the latest science. It shows again that saturated fat and cholesterol from foods is not associated with a higher risk of death in people. So enjoy your steak and your bacon with your eggs. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, you let me know. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you.